All right. Huh?
Basketball playoffs.
These things happen.
At least I don't get to miss notes now.
Oh, you're so lucky.
That's actually good because I will less I'll be screwed.
So, we were left right here, subtracting the volume of a cylinder out of a prism. We already did the prism. Cylinder was pi r squared h, which was pi times 7.5 squared times the height of 30, which 7.5 squared was 56.25 or something, which we multiplied by 30. So it was, I don't remember, but it's that with 56.25 times 30, which is 30 times 50, which is 1,500. 6 times 30 is 1,680, and 0.5 times 30 is 1,685 pi, so it was 60,000 minus 1,685 pi, something like that. 5,301. Okay. But again, this is what's important. This question is actually quite difficult. But again, I lie. That's the wrong word. I do that to myself all the time. It's not difficult, it's complicated. And those are two different things. Because once you write down what you're doing, then it's not that big a deal. It's the surface area of the big cone, which, if it was whole, would be this black one. Minus the surface area of the little cone, which is the red one. Right? But you had to add that circle because that's a new surface. As soon as you cut off the top, you get a new surface. So it would be pi r squared plus pi r slant for the black one minus pi r squared plus pi r slant for the red one, but then you're adding pi r squared, right? Now, right here it says minus pi r squared to the red one and plus pi r squared to the blue one, right? So what happens when you do minus something and then you add the exact same amount? They cancel out. So really, what you have is the pi r squared, pi r slant to the black one, plus just the pi r slant to the red one. Now, of course, I didn't give you any slants, but we did talk about how to find them. The red one is that one, and of course, 3, 4, what does that make that automatically? 5, because it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. And then 9, 12, what does that make that automatically? 15? 15. So it was pi times 9 squared plus pi times 9 times 15 plus, then the red one is pi times 3 times 5, giving us 81 pi plus 9 times 15 is 135 plus 81 is 235 minus 19, 215, 216 pi plus 15 pi, 231 pi. But I did that all in my head for the surface area. Or, of course, something around 231 times 3, which would be around 750 if you went back to decimals. Yeah? That's surface area, yes, of course. Really? Okay. And then volume is, of course, the volume of the big cone minus the volume of the small cone, which, of course, is pi r squared h divided by 3 minus pi r squared h divided by 3, which gets me pi times 9 squared times 12 over 3 minus pi times 3 squared times 4 over 3, which gets me 81 times 12. 12 times 80 is 960 plus another 12 is 962 pi. 962 pi minus 9 times 4 is 36 pi over 3, which is 932 minus 6, 926 pi over 3, which is, that doesn't work out perfectly in my head. 3 goes into that thrice, 3 goes into that 4. Oh, it does, 342 pi. That can't be right. Twice. Oh, it doesn't go into. Nah, it doesn't go into. It's not right. It's 308 and 2/3 pi for volume, or 0.67. Everybody good? What's the lesson you should have learned by now? Write out what you're doing in words. Write out what you're doing in formula. Write in numbers. Do not go straight to your formulas with numbers. This question. Surface area. If it was a whole cylinder, it would be pi r squared plus 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh for the surface area, yes? But it is not a whole cylinder. It is what? Half a cylinder. So I would cut that in half. But once I cut it in half, what did I make there? A rectangle that's a new surface that isn't part of this, is it? So I have to add the LW that's green. Now, of course, when I divide this by 2, what happens to all these 2's? They cancel out because you're dividing by 2. So that is pi r squared plus pi rh plus LW. Now you put in your numbers. Pi, what's the radius? 8 squared plus pi times 8 times what's the height? 12 plus, and what's the LW in black? 16 and 12. Which is, what?
What's that number besides the second pi?
8. It's the radius. So that's 64 pi plus 12 times 9, or 12 times 8, is 96 pi plus 192, which is 160 pi plus 192, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 692 if you went to decimals. 694? Spectacular. And volume, of course, do you have to worry about any adding or subtracting in volume? No. Volume, of course, is area of base, pi r squared, times the height, divided by 2, because it's a cylinder cut in half, which we know is 64 times 12, 64 pi times 12 divided by 2, which is the same as 64 times 6, which is 384 pi, or somewhere around 1,000. No, more like 1,200. Huh? 2,000? What'd you do? This is what you were supposed to do. The volume of a cylinder divided by 2.
Oh, that's what we didn't divide. Divide by 2, and then what happens?
There you go. Because it's half a cylinder. Hemisphere. Surface area of a hemisphere. Remember, I told you to assume it was solid. So it is 3 pi r squared for the surface area of a hemisphere. So that is 3 times pi times 18 squared, which is 324 times 3, which is 972 pi, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000. And for the volume of a hemisphere, I gave you this in your notes. It is 2 pi r cubed over 3, which is 2 pi times 18 cubed divided by 3, which is a colossally large number. I can't remember how big it is. 216 pi? Seems like it should be more than that. 18 cubed is a lot. What's 18 cubed? It's a big number. It's like 54,000. 3,088 pi. Okay, it's fine with me. 3/8. That sounds better. Yeah. Yeah. Because it would be a big number. Okay. It's tough when you guys can't actually say numbers, when you just do a string of digits. Have you said 3,888, it would have been okay. But at some... Huh? Is it wrong? Okay. I didn't get out my calculator because I trust that my grade 10s can punch that into their calculator. Time to get out my calculator. 18 cubed times 2. Oop.
It's 12,214.5 centimeters.
Well, we're about to find out. 18 cubed is that, times 2 is that, divided by 3 is that. Pi, he was right. It is 3,888 pi, but some of you can't leave that, so you got to go pi to get 12,214.
Okay, so not right.
And lastly, the grain silo. Even if you don't know what a grain silo is, it's explained right there. It's a hemisphere on top of a cylinder. So I need the volume of the silo. So since it's a volume, it must be volume of a cylinder plus volume of a hemisphere. We just did both of those on this page. Pi r squared h plus 2 pi r cubed divided by 3. Pi r squared h, pi, the radius, the cylinder has a diameter of 6, so its radius is 3 squared. Its height is 9 meters, plus the hemisphere. Obviously, the hemisphere has the exact same radius because it sits right on top, cubed divided by 3, which gets me 9 times 9, 81 pi, plus 27 times 2, 54 pi over 3. 54 divided by 3 is 18. So that equals 81 pi plus 18 pi's, which is 101 pi's, 99 pi's. And then you would be done. Yeah? All right. Now, you have a quiz to write? I don't care. You can write it now, you can write it tomorrow. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. Tomorrow it is. I love how you guys put off things that don't matter.
What if there's no school tomorrow?
There will be school tomorrow. And it snowed all night long last night. Yes, it did. I was driving on the highway at 12:33 in the morning. You could not see. Because hockey ends at 11 in Mission. And then I have to drive back to Chilliwack.
It was really bad.
I know it was.
My mom drove from Surrey, and like people were slamming on their brakes.
Yes,
every 5 seconds.
because people don't know how to drive.
Well, then we should have school.
As soon as they're, oh, the snow stopped for 1 second. I'm on the highway. I'm going to floor it. Oh, the snow's back. I'm going to jam on my brakes. All right. Please turn to page 39. We are going to work through page 39 one question at a time. I'm going to give you a few moments to do so. Then you are going to talk to me. I will give 5 minutes to work on number 1. You may work in as big a group as you see fit. If you come to me with the right answer to 1A and 1B, each one is worth 3 gummy bears. To everybody in the group. However, I am starting a timer. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. With a, that's even more of a cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Let me see if you have the right answer. You do not. So you probably shouldn't trust that person. It's not the right answer.
But I got all the right answers. Why isn't this right?
Because it's not. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
Just do 1A and B. That's all we're working on right now, and I'm giving you 6 minutes. Anybody from you and your group that comes with the right answer to 1A or 1B gets 3 gummy bears. At the end of 6 minutes, we will be going over it together. Hint, hint. Read that line. It's drawn badly. It is drawn like crap on purpose.
So like
You have to think about it. That's 1. That's 8. Because, ladies and gentlemen, these are the types of real-life questions that may indeed occur, possibly. So, we are going to fill our pool. We are filling it up. Is that volume or is it surface area? Volume. Yay, everybody's on the same page. Excellent. Is this a three-dimensional figure? Excellent. Is it a prism? Excellent, of course it is, because this shape right here repeats again back there, right? And it is separated by rectangles, agreed? So, the volume of every single prism is the area of the base times the height, correct? Is base the bottom? No. Base is the shape that repeats. Does this shape repeat? Of course it does, because it's the same back there. Right? So the base is this red. Is height up and down? No. Height is the direction the shape repeats, which is 6. So if I know this area, which I have drawn right here, and I multiply that by the 6 I go backwards, will I have my volume? Of course I will. Now that you have seen how to do it, make it so. How will you find this area? Because now you've seen what to do. You have to find this and multiply it by 6 to find the volume. Go. Work back in your groups. Pardon me?
I thought this corner right here was one, and then there was this one, but the two opposite ones were different, so it was weird slant.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
170?
What?
Is it 170?
You're close.
Is it 180?
You're closer.
What? How did I get
Well, 180 is closer than 170 to the right answer. What?
I'm saying the calculation of the
Pardon me?
calculation for the 180.
Oh, you're doing the calculation for the just this area. Okay, what was this area? What did you say it was?
Yeah, I get
120.
Excuse me. It is not quite 120. Is there a formula for this shape?
Yeah, left times what?
No.
No, actually. It's a
Because what is it?
right angle.
It is a rectangle and a triangle. How big is the rectangle? 15 by 1. Don't go to your calculator for 15 by 1. How big is the triangle?
8,
Not 8. You've already used this one.
15, and 7.
And then what do you do at the end of a triangle area?
You try to get the
No.
no one.
How do you find the area of a triangle? If only I gave you a formula sheet. Base times height divided by 2. So the new base is 7. The height is 15, and then I divide it by 2, which means this is 52.5. So what is the area of this whole red section? Which is the area of the base? 52.5 is the triangle, plus the 15. 67.5. And what is the height? 6. To get a number that is that times that, it's 405. Am I filling the pool to capacity? No, I am filling it to 85% capacity. So I multiply by 0.85, and I'm filling my pool 344.25 meters cubed. Does that tell me how long it will take? No. What must I then do with that number?
Times about 1.8.
Times? Divide 1.8, which gets me 191.25 hours. Now, perfectly happy, I'm very happy with that. Could you make me happier? Yes, you could write it the way we write time. 191 hours, 15 minutes. From the area of the base times the height.
Oh, okay. What's the other number? I can't.
0.85 because you're only filling it 85% full, as the question says.
Okay.
Now that you know how full it's going to get, right here, you should be able to tell me how many liters it will take. 1,000 centimeters cubed is 1 liter. So you're going to have to do some funky conversions to get from the 344.25 meters cubed to liters. But, like all conversions, it's just multiplying by a fraction. Go!
Can I tell you after this?
You can try.
34.
No. It is not 34.2.
10,000 centimeters. 10 meters cubed.
No.
1 meter cubed.
No. I know you're guessing. But you shouldn't be because you know how to do this. I don't know. Do you want to do this? I cannot be the arbiter of what you want to do in math. You know I'm going to go over it and write it all down. You could sit there and do nothing and then copy it down. What a guy. And he left the fridge open. All right. Okay. Let's look at the question and let's talk about it. What is the volume of the pool? 344.25 meters cubed, yes? 1 liter is equivalent to 1,000 centimeters cubed, right? So that gives us this. 1 liter is 1,000 centimeters cubed. Agreed? Do we have centimeters cubed anywhere? No, we have meters cubed, right? Now, we know that 1 meter in 1 dimension equals how many centimeters? 100 centimeters. If it's in 1 dimension, right? But if it's in 2 dimensions, this becomes 1 square meter, yes? So if I square one side of an equation, what must I do to the other? Same. So this becomes 100 squared. Am I converting? No, 100 squared is not 1,000. 100 squared is 10,000 because it's 100 times 100. Now, if I am in cube meters, what must I do to this 100? Cube it, not multiply it by 3. I know what you mean. I know that you know that I know that you know that. Right? So, this, if I was to convert it to centimeters cubed, it's what I want is centimeters cubed. So over here, remember, 1 cubic meter is 100 cubic centimeters. So my fraction becomes that times 100 what? 100 squared, cubed, what? No. Cubed. So I have to take 344.25 and multiply it by 100 cubed. 100 cubed is indeed 1,000,000. So I have to move the decimal a whole bunch of places, don't I? So when I move it those 6 places, and if you don't believe me, of course, you just check. As soon as your calculator turns on. 100 cubed. 1,000,000. So I need 6 decimal places of movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And zeros go in all the spots. My pen is dying again. That is centimeters cubed. But I want liters, don't I? So if I'm converting to liters, 1 is on the top, so I get rid of it, so I divide by 1,000, correct? So how many zeros do I get rid of when I divide by 1,000? He waited patiently. 3, leaving me with 344,250 liters. Now, I am going to hope that my pen starts working. It looks like it is. Number 2 has a 5 gummy bear prize per person in the group to tell me how many pucks will fill the net. Go!
If we did the